What's up, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the King's Corner, where this week we're talking about two new 2023 new release films, Haunted Mansion from Disney and Past Lives from A24. Let's start talking about Haunted Mansion. So this film, hit Disney Plus a couple weeks ago and hit 4K Blu-ray recently, but we watched it on Disney Plus. Hadn't seen it in the theater, but I was able to watch it on streaming. I do support physical media and all that, but this film isn't one that I wanted to buy, because even back when the trailers for it came out, even when it was announced, really, I said, why are they making a Haunted Mansion movie? I mean, they did the Eddie Murphy film, and I'm sure it was very successful. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the Eddie Murphy movie, but I'm sure it's better than this, and I'll just say that off the bat. But regardless, you have Eddie Murphy in that, so it's gotta be something. But this is a remake, like remake reboot for Haunted Mansions. It's just something that didn't need to happen. And after watching the movie, you say, okay, uh, that didn't need to happen. It's very forgettable. This movie has a great cast: Lakeith Stanfield, Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito. You have Jamie Lee Curtis in it for a little bit, and I just think that ultimately no one really has anything to do. I mean, characters do things, but there's nothing really special going on here. The movie just sort of treads along and gives you the most. I don't know. I just feel like the story overall wasn't very uh, thoughtful. I don't think much thought was put into it. I just thought it was very basic in a way. Now they do try to add an emotional layer to it with Lakeith Stanfield's character, which I appreciated, but I just don't think it worked. I don't think it worked for what they were trying to do and what they were trying to accomplish with this film, with themes of grief and moving on, uh, and stuff like that. It just, they set all that up, but it doesn't really necessarily pay off. So, I mean, the movie, I wouldn't necessarily say it's boring, but I would say it does drag. So it's like I was moderately entertained by most of it. I think the middle portion of it is very slow. The first half hour, is the setup of getting everybody in the mansion and getting the people, like, the Owen Wilsons or the Tiffany Haddish or whatever, Danny DeVito, getting all the people to the mansion, and then I would say about 45 minutes after that, we have to try to discover what's the deal with the mansion and how to fix the problem. So this movie is like 2 hours long, and it did not need to be 2 hours. This movie is much longer than it needed to be. Um, and I just think it dragged along. It was I thought it was not great. I didn't really like this movie, and I don't think it was like terrible, and I don't think this is like the worst movie ever. I just think it's forgettable. I think it's kind of bland and not memorable. And look, the visual effects I thought were okay. I thought it looked fine, you know, but the film is also very dark. This movie, you know, probably would have put me to sleep in the movie theater, to be honest with you. Um, it is extremely dark, and it's like when you have colors and fire and lights and ghosts flying around, you get glimpses of vibrance, but just the whole setting of it and just the whole movie is just a very dark film. I think the color palette could have been a lot more lively and vivid. I don't know. The movie didn't feel very inviting either. It couldn't be due to the color palette or the way it was shot or whatever. I don't know. The movie just didn't have life. It felt like I was one of the ghosts. Uh, you know, I guess is the best way to put it. So, Haunted Mansion, look, it's not a great movie, and it didn't need to be made. Now, does any movie need to be made? No. But if they made it, I think that they should have really tried a little harder because they weren't successful with it. I mean, with marketing and stuff, the movie cost like $300 million, and it only made like 116 million worldwide. So this movie lost Disney over 150 million dollars at the box office, and it's just, who's making these decisions? Who's greenlighting these movies? I mean, Disney's got a little bit of an issue going on right now. Uh, Dial of Destiny is not a bad movie, but wasn't. I mean, I think that movie barely broke even. It just broke even, I think. Little Mermaid was a bit of a success. Elemental kind of had a little bit of success, but I think they're not having hits like they used to. I mean, what was the last really successful Disney film? Was it like Frozen 2? Was it Toy Story 4? I mean, live action Disney. I don't know. I can't even think. I mean, Little Mermaid, I guess. I mean, they did okay, but what was the best big hit for them? Was it back in 2019? When they had like so many billion-dollar films? I mean, probably. I just don't know. I think they need some people uh, saying, okay, this is what we're going to greenlight. This is what we're going to make, and let's make what the people want. And I think their live-action Snow White film is also in danger for a lot of reasons behind the scenes and decisions with what they're doing with the dwarves. I don't know. There's just a lot of questionable stuff going on there. So, in the end of the day, Haunted Mansion, it's a 2 out of 5 movie for me. I thought the acting was fine, but overall, I just don't think the movie was, it wasn't great, and it was forgettable, and that's where I'm at with it. So, will I ever watch it again? Probably not, but I do intend to watch the Eddie Murphy film eventually. Hopefully that will turn out better than this. Now let's talk about Past Lives, written and directed by Celine Song, which came on Blu-ray a couple weeks ago. I was finally able to check it out. And look, this is a love story for all time. As the Los Angeles Times says, Nora and Hae Sung, two deeply connected childhood friends. This is the story of these two these two people who were friends as children. She has to immigrate to New York, and their relationship sort of comes to a ultimate stop and a quick finish, and there's no closure there. So as the film goes through time and beautifully moves through time seamlessly, we see them interact a little bit 12 years later, and then we see them interact a little bit more years later, to where this movie ultimately is a story about closure, about finding that person that maybe you've been you know thinking about or used to talk to, even if it's not necessarily a romantic kind of thing, because the film, I mean, they're not intimate. They don't have an intimate relationship. They just have a connection and a love for each other, which I thought was pretty powerful. They never say the words "I love you," but you can feel it. You can feel it through the script. I think the screenplay is great, and how these characters sort of move through time and live their lives, but in the end of the day, their past always comes back uh, to not necessarily haunt them, but it always comes back to knock on the door. Um, I thought the performances were great. I mean, I think if this is Teo Yo, who plays Hae Sung, I thought he was phenomenal, particularly when we see him in his later years. I thought his performance was fantastic. She's great, Greta Lee, and John Magaro. Yeah, I'm not sure really who plays who here. I'm just guessing, but he was fantastic. She was fantastic, and this is just it's a heartbreaking movie. The final moments of the film are uh, very very sad. But in the same way as, it almost feels like great relief. Now I'm not going to spoil it on you, but when you finish the film and you see the end of the film, you feel that closure as an audience member, and I think the characters, you know, do as well. So, in the end of the day, Past Lives is a great film. It's a film that is probably not going to widely appeal to a lot of people. It's a romance film with, it's a very dialogue heavy film. It is kind of slow moving, but it does seamlessly take us through time, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was masterfully done. I thought Celine's song, it's the first film I've seen from her, and I think this is a masterwork, and I would put this up there with any of the great romance films. I think this movie uh, really has something to say, and I really appreciated it. And, just because of maybe its rewatchability not being extremely strong, it is something I think I'd rewatch, but maybe not like a lot. Um, because of that pacing as well. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a very, very, very strong 4 out of 5 stars. This is certainly one of the better films of the year, and I'm extremely happy that I was able to pick it up and watch it. And with all that being said, guys, comment down below. Do you plan on seeing either of these films? Leave that down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got a bunch of stuff coming on the channel. We got a weekly live show. We give away a lot of digital copy codes. This coming Wednesday, next Wednesday's live show, we got a lot of scary horror films. A lot of October type films that we're going to be giving away codes for is quite a bit, quite a handful. We do that in the form of live trivia. We got Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, going to be streaming that. Very excited. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more reviews, episodes of the King's Corner coming weekly. We've got a bunch of exciting things coming out that I'm trying to catch up on, that we weren't able to see theatrically, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna watch them. Gonna watch them on physical media or streaming, however we can get our hands on these things. So, guys, also don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Ranking72, or X, I suppose, and on Instagram and TikTok at KingRises131. That's better for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and until next time, over and out.